so many what if stories. Been so many what if stories in the history of boxing. What if Reuben Hurricane Carter was never sent to prison? What if Gerald McClellan didn't suffer brain trauma? Or if James Toney actually cared? But the what if that's always captured me the most over all my years of studying and watching boxing is, what if Salvador Sanchez's career wasn't tragically cut short at the age of 23? Man was a monster with a record of 46 fights, 44 wins, 32 knockouts, 1 loss, and 1 draw at the time of his death. Let's take a look over his incredible yet short career and really see how good was Salvador Sanchez. Sanchez's first professional bout was at the age of 16 in 1975. He would have 6 fights within that year, winning all 6 and 5 by way of knockout. He would go on an 18-win streak, knocking out all but one opponent, earning him a shot at the vacant Mexican bantamweight title. Sanchez would be dropped in the first round, culminating in his first and only loss by split decision. Winning the next 2 fights by decision, Sanchez would fight Juan Escobar. Sanchez would be dropped in the 5th, with the fight resulting in a draw. After this draw, he would go on a rampage, beating everyone in his way, including Felix Trinidad Sr. and Richard Rosell. He would finally get his title shot on February 2nd, 1980 against Danny Little Red Lopez. From the opening bell, you could tell Danny Lopez was going to have a rough night. Sanchez was immediately reading Lopez's left shoulder movements. The moment he would rotate that shoulder, Sanchez would throw a huge booming shot straight over the top, readjust with the weave, and then come back with a left hook over and over again. Sanchez couldn't miss, and even though Danny Lopez is an incredible fighter, Sanchez just completely outclassed him on the outside, inside, or even mid-distance. The right hands in particular were insane. They kept hitting Lopez over and over and over again, absolutely destroying his face and his confidence. The only time Sanchez was ever in really any trouble was when he was bouncing up and down in Lopez's kill zone, getting caught by straights. This didn't deter Sanchez though. In trademark fashion, Sanchez lands a right-hand left hook combo, only to throw a quick flurry of punches, causing the referee to stop the fight. Salvador Sanchez was the new WBC and lineal featherweight champion of the world. After this monumental win, he would beat undefeated Pat Ford by majority decision, then would come up against the legendary Juan Laporte. Starting off the fight, Salvador Sanchez was repeatedly getting caught with right hands and lead hand uppercuts. This was due to Sanchez repeatedly throwing lazy jabs and having his left hand down and even out past his shoulder width. As the rounds went on, Sanchez started throwing much more stinging jabs and in higher volume. He would shoot jabs on the outside or as a cover to get inside and wreak havoc on Laporte's body with uppercuts from both hands. This did not mean Laporte was giving as much as he got. Whenever Sanchez stood in mid-distance, Laporte would throw crosses straight at Sanchez, landing with a few. But when Sanchez was either at long range, shooting jabs and stepping in with right hands for inside combos, or immediately retreating, he was having success. Sanchez, who was winning a grueling fight, gets caught by Gomez in round 9. Punches that would have knocked out a horse, but Sanchez holds on, throwing hard punches back of his own. The fight ends with a flurry of punches and with Sanchez winning a 15-round unanimous decision. Post Laporte, Sanchez would fight Roberto Castanon, winning by way of technical knockout in the 10th round, and Nicky Perez, who he would also beat by unanimous decision. His next fight, however, was his biggest challenge yet, undefeated and former super bantamweight world champion Wilfredo Gomez. Gomez at the time was utterly unstoppable. He had knocked out or stopped every opponent he had ever faced, including the man he drew against in his first fight. The fight was coined the Battle of the Little Giants and did not disappoint. The start of round 1 begins with a quick feeling out period, which quickly turns into a war for control over the inside. Gomez cops a beautifully timed left hand, sending him to the canvas. Immediately after, Gomez stands up. Sanchez, seeing an early victory, chases down Gomez with ferocious punches. Somehow Gomez survives the onslaught, surviving round 1. The fight continues with a barrage of fists coming from both gladiators, but Sanchez continues to get the best of these exchanges. As rounds come and go, the fight starts to get into a rhythm. Sanchez rotating to his right to keep away from Gomez's rocket of a right hand, and hopefully get into position to fire one of his own over the top of Gomez's lead hand. To counter this, Gomez throws left hooks, leaping with most of them to almost push Sanchez into range of his right hand. This has little effect. For the rest of the fight, Sanchez puts on an almost infallible display of boxing brilliance. The fight ends with one of the most iconic KOs in history. A big right hand from Sanchez disconnects Gomez's body and spirit, only to throw a merciless flurry of punches, causing Gomez to start falling out of the ropes. The referee jumps in to stop the fight. Sanchez continues his tyrannical rule over the featherweight division. 2 more decision wins leads Sanchez to another boxing legend in the making, Azumah Nelson. And sadly, this would be his last ever bout before his untimely death. Azuma Nelson, who was at the beginning of his Hall of Fame career, had a record of 13 wins, 10 knockouts at the start of the fight, and was attempting to steal the crown off the dominant Salvador Sanchez. The first couple of rounds, Azuma Nelson's quick feet and hands are undetectable, causing Sanchez a plethora of problems. Nelson continues to bombard Sanchez, but Sanchez does return fire too. Even though Nelson is getting great shots in, the looming danger of Sanchez's right hand is always a viable threat. It usually doesn't take long for Sanchez to get his timing right, and when he does, the results are devastating. In some parts of the early rounds, Nelson is untouchable, showing off his Ali shuffle and defensive maneuvers similar to that of Pernell Whitaker. Fast forward to round 6 and Nelson is still landing big shots. However, Sanchez's endless gas tank is starting to come into play. Whenever Nelson does not engage, Sanchez is firing tremendous punches, a foreshadowing for what is to come. Round 7 and Nelson slips right into a ferocious left hook from Sanchez, which rocks him to the core. For the left hook, Sanchez starts to throw combos, only for Nelson to return fire. Once again, a left hook from the depths of hell lands on Nelson and he crashes to the mat. Nelson is back up and ready to rumble. After the knockdown, both fighters get their fair share of shots in, with Sanchez staying on the outside shooting out jabs and Nelson lunging in with huge punches trying to hurt the Mexican. 14 rounds of intense fighting lead to the final round. Sanchez is on the ropes, receiving large winding punches from Nelson. Sanchez counters with a left hook and a big right hand to send Nelson off balance. Sanchez follows Nelson, throwing a big looping right hand, wobbling Nelson again. Later in the round, a left hook gives Nelson a good old stanky leg. Nelson falls, but back up on his feet. Sanchez throws left hook after left hook and stops Nelson. Sanchez walks out of the ring, retaining his title. 1 month later, Sanchez would crash his car and tragically pass away. So how great was Salvador Sanchez? His career ended at the age of 23 with 46 fights, 44 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw. In 1981, he would receive the Fight of the Year award alongside Sugar Ray Leonard. This was the year Leonard had that incredible comeback knockout win against Tommy Hearns. Every boxing Hall of Famer Sanchez fought, he would knock out Danny Lopez twice, Nelson once and Gomez once. For me personally, I'd rank him the 3rd greatest featherweight ever, behind Sandy Sadler and obviously Willie Pep. However, on my personal pound for pound greatest of all time list, very much subject to change, he's ranked 53. I've always believed that Salvador Sanchez could have become a top 25 great, if not for his early death. Maybe even higher, who knows. Before his death, there were already talks of him moving up to fight Arguello, a matchup I actually do believe favours Arguello. But imagine if he actually beat him, and how much of a popularity boom he would have experienced. His style, distance, power and balance were genius. He has to be one of my all-time favourite fighters to watch, and definitely one of the greatest. Now a little bit about me, I guess. First off, thank you for watching my video. This is my first one, and I'm not the best with all this editing and recording stuff, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it anyway. Now here's a little knowledge about me. I started boxing the moment I could walk, and started to teach boxing to people at age 8. My whole life's been centered around boxing ever since. I love teaching and studying the intricate detail and watching idiosyncrasies and breaking down fighters and fights, talking about it, analysing it, anything to do with boxing, I love it. And I really want to share my knowledge, I guess, to the world. If anyone has any constructive criticism on how to make the videos better, I'd love to hear it. And any subjects for future videos you want me to touch on, that'd be really helpful. Okay, thank you for watching again. Bye.